In this video, we'll be discussing on how traits are transmitted from parents to offspring. In most cases, when you visit a family, you will discover that most members of the family share the same characters. Either they have the same body structure or they have the same color of skin, eye, or hair. But in rare cases, we discover that there is variation in characters. And this will lead us to a branch in biology known as genetics. Genetics is a branch of biology that studies heredity and variation. We have two key words here: heredity and variation. These are the two keywords in genetics. So we are going to look at the meaning. Heredity is a process whereby, or a biological process whereby traits or characters are transmitted or passed from parents to offsprings. When you look at offspring, you discover that organisms always give birth to offsprings that look exactly like them. The reason is because these traits or characters are transmitted to them unaltered. That is why they look exactly like their parents. Traits, or the second part of it, is variation. Variation refers to an individual that possesses characters that are different from others even when they are the same species. That is, families that are from the same offspring that are from the same family, they may look different due to variation. So what are those traits that are transmitted in animals? The traits that are transmitted in animals include the color of eye, skin, and hair, the shape of the nose, head, ear, and the body. Some others include albinism. Albinism is a trait that can be transmitted. Another trait that can be transmitted is sickle cell anemia. When do we say somebody is suffering from sickle cell anemia? That is when the genotype is SS. Rolling of the tongue is another trait that can be transmitted in human. Not every human can roll their tongue. I'm sure some of you are trying to roll your tongue. Okay. Another trait that are transmitted is baldness of the head, then dimple. Dimple is a trait that can be transmitted. Others include voice, intelligence, color blindness, and blood group. So let's quickly look at those traits that are transmitted in plants. Some of them include the height of the plant. The height of the plant is a trait that can be transmitted. The color, size, and shape of leaf. The color, size, and shape of flower can be transmitted. Then the color, size, and shape of fruit is another trait that can be transmitted. Other traits that are transmitted in plants include the taste of the fruit, food content of the fruit, lifespan of the plants. So how are these traits transmitted? These traits are transmitted from parents to offspring through the cell. The cell is the foundation of life, and the cell is actually made up of different parts. The different parts of the cell include cell membrane, ribosome, cytoplasm, mitochondria, and the nucleus. These and many more are parts of the cell. If you look at the nucleus is at the center of the cell, especially in animal cell. and it is the center for all cellular activities in the cell. All cellular activities take place in the cell. So this is an animal cell on the screen. We discover that the nucleus is at the center. The nucleus contains a thread-like structure that is being twisted together, and they are identical. That thread-like structure found in the nucleus is known as the chromosome. Every human have chromosome, and every human have 23 pairs of chromosome in their body, except the sex cell, which is 23 chromosome, not 23 pairs, but 23 chromosome. And during fertilization, we discover that the offspring that will be produced, so okay, that is fertilization. During fertilization, I'm sure you know the meaning of fertilization, the fusion of the spermatozoa and the egg. So during fertilization, the offspring that will be produced, the sex cell from man, which is spermatozoa, and egg will fuse together to give the 23 pairs of chromosome for the offspring. And when you look at the chromosome is made up of genes. The gene is known as the hereditary unit. That is where all the characters or traits are embedded. So these character or traits are transmitted to the offspring. And again, the genes are located inside the DNA. And I'm sure you have been hearing of DNA. The full name is deoxyribonucleic acid. That is the full name of DNA. So each time you hear about DNA, know that they are talking of deoxyribonucleic acid. So the gene himself are linked together inside the chromosome. So the chromosome is in the nucleus. The nucleus have the DNA, and the gene are found inside the DNA. So I'm sure that part is clear now. I'm sure it's very clear. Okay, so let's go straight to dominant and recessive traits. What are dominant traits? Dominant traits are traits or characters that expresses himself physically. That is, they show physically in the offspring. Once it is being transmitted, it appears physically on the offspring. You see it like tall, short, black, and all. Recessive traits. A recessive trait is a trait that is being masked in the presence of other traits. So let's go to the former picture. On the former diagram, you have capital letter T and small letter t, yet the organism is tall. So the small letter t is a recessive trait. I'm sure that is clear. So let's go to Mendel's work in genetics. Gregory Mendel was the first scientist to explain how single characters are inherited by offspring. That is why he is referred to as the father of genetics. So each time they ask you who is the father of genetics, just know that it is what? Gregory Mendel. How did he do it? He crossbred the purple garden peel and the white garden peel. That is the purple flower garden peel and the white flower garden peel cross pollination. So what he discovered was in the first generation, known as the first filial generation, which is the offspring, they were all purple, all purple. And he was able to achieve this by cross-pollinating them manually with his own hand. So he tried to avoid self-pollination. Tried to avoid self-pollination. So that is his first experiment. In his second experiment, he crossbred two the first filial generation, and he got the second filial generation, whereby 3 were purple and 1 white. So, what are the importance of family traits? The importance of family traits is that fingerprints is used to detect crime. You have heard about that before, using fingerprints to detect crime. We have every individual have their own fingerprints. Then it helps to determine the paternity of a child. When the paternity of a child is in doubt, you can actually check the paternity by checking the blood group and the DNA. We have been hearing of so many situations. Then blood group is another importance of family traits. We have AB and O blood group. Then the classification of human is another importance of family traits. Human race are classified into 4 groups. So you can see them on the screen into 4 groups. Then agriculturally, genetics has really helped to improve agricultural products, including plants and animals. Genetics, family traits can actually help to prevent sex-linked diseases. Through genetic counseling, we can prevent some diseases. Such diseases include sickle cell anemia, albinism, barrenness of the head, and hemophilia. You are welcome back from the class. I'm sure you enjoyed the video and you quite understand the topic. From this topic, you discover that characters are transmitted from parents to offspring unaltered. Please don't forget to drop your question and comment in the question box below this page. And again, attempt your quiz, play your game, take care of yourself until we meet in our next class. Bye for now.